Okay, B for what?
Welcome everybody. I'm Rick Matthew, Dean of the McCall School of Business, and welcome to the Queen's 2022 Pitch Competition. It's presented by the McCall School of Business and the Entrepreneurial Leadership Circle at Queen's University. We are so excited to be here today, to have such a wonderful crowd. They keep coming in. That's great. Love it. So we're going to be hearing some innovative business ideas from undergraduate students here at Queen's University. We're excited about that. But before I tell you a little bit more, I'd like to introduce President Dan Lugo, who is a big supporter of entrepreneurship here at Queen's and in Charlotte. So President Lugo, if you could come and give us some remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know, we do a lot of cool things here at Queen's. I've noticed some of our national champion swimmers are here. We do that incredibly well. We do the performing arts in the Gambrell Center incredibly well. And one of the most fast-growing and explosive components of our community is this entrepreneurship community. And I love to see it happen. So thank you, Rick, for the introduction. It's been a pleasure to see the seeds of this annual tradition grow, and I'm happy that everyone can be with us today. I want to thank our judges and our sponsors for preparing us, and everyone that's done the work of evaluating the proposals that you won't even see today, that are now going back with feedback to iterate to get even stronger. But I get the sense that you're going to see 3 undergraduates really shine today with their business ventures and their ideas. And Queen's is really fortunate to have a connection to the entrepreneurial community of Charlotte, which I see as something that has otherworldly potential to be a real epicenter for the creation and innovation of new business ideas here. Seeing that community start from students. We are becoming somewhat of a mecca for folks to bring their ideas, and we're starting to see the seed capital come into the city that will help nurture all of these ideas along. So I want to offer my congratulations to our finalists. That would be from the class, our senior class 2022, Mickey Evans, a marketing major. A junior, class 2023, Jack O'Grady, a business administration major, and then 2 juniors with a separate venture that they're going to pitch, Christian Ramos and Kyle McGuff. All right, good job with stacking the audience first. All right, good job, bring that energy. And they are biochemistry majors. So I know everyone didn't come here to hear me. I'm looking forward to hearing these ideas. So please, I'm going to pass it back to Rick so we can get everything going. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, President Lugo. Before we hear those student pitches, though, I have to take a moment to talk about the people that make this all happen. And in doing so, I want to talk a little bit about the history of the event quickly, because I know we want to get to the exciting part. The partnership with the Entrepreneurial Leadership Circle is huge. Our students truly partner with the leading entrepreneurs in town, and they sit on the Entrepreneurial Leadership Circle. And in that, I want to recognize Keith Ludeman, who chairs the ELC, and he's been instrumental in making today happen. So thank you, Keith and the ELC. And certainly, we need to recognize our sponsors. Our students are competing for prize money today, and as President Lugo mentioned, this event wouldn't be possible without these great sponsors here. Many of them have sponsored this event every year, and they are dedicated to supporting our students and their entrepreneurial initiatives here at Queen's. So we are grateful for that, for sure. This is the 4th year of the pitch competition. And being entrepreneurs, we were not dissuaded by COVID. Our last 2 years, we held the competition virtually, but I can tell you we are so excited to be here in person in this wonderful facility. So We are excited to be here in person for sure. Just a little bit of background. We had 28 students start in this process. Started with 28. They went through developmental sessions with our ELC entrepreneurs, and they learned how to make a pitch and develop a financial plan and talk about marketing, and you're going to hear about that shortly. They recorded videos, and then those videos were judged and recorded, and that led to our 3 finalist teams here today. So there's been a lot of work going on here at Queens. I want to thank the multiple people who have guided and mentored these students over the past few months, starting with Lewis Foreman, who you will meet in just a moment, Cass Ward, an ELC board member and Queens MBA alum, and Alexis Carrero, founder of the Pitch Prof. Also would like to acknowledge some other mentors, Keisha Talbert Johnson, Lorena Eastman, and Guillermo Villar. Many of them are here today, so I want to thank you for working with our students and being mentors to them. Well, with that in mind, I would like to turn it over to Lewis Foreman, who is an ELC board member and our MC for the day. Lewis is the CEO and founder of Aventus Partners and is a leading entrepreneur here in town. So Lewis, going to turn it over to you.
Well, it is great to be back in person with all of you. We have been doing this event for a number of years, and before the undergrad pitch event, it was part of the executive MBA program where we had the students actually present their ventures. So we've been judging students for many years, and it's nice to be doing it in person again. COVID has definitely changed a lot of behaviors, and I found myself compelled while Rick was speaking, no offense, to send out a few text messages, maybe send a few emails, and try to sneak away to the kitchen and grab a quick snack, because we're so used to doing things on Zoom that now all of a sudden we've got this new behavior and we're back together in person. And so we've got a great event planned this evening. I know a lot of work went into not only putting on this event, but more importantly, the students and their ideas and presenting those ideas. You know, entrepreneurship is very special to me because my journey as an entrepreneur began while I was in college. I was a sophomore at the University of Illinois. I played lacrosse. There wasn't a local supplier of equipment. And in my econ class, I learned about the relationship of supply and demand. That when there is demand for a product or a service, and when the market doesn't address that demand, there should be a business opportunity. And so rather than just sit in class and take notes, I thought, why not take action? And so I started my first business. And by the time I graduated college, my business had over 300 employees and did over $10 million in revenue. And so entrepreneurship is a foundational lesson that not only can give you the opportunity to create jobs versus going out and getting a job, but it also makes you a better employee if you end up working for somebody else. So I'm really excited about not only the growth of the entrepreneurship program here at Queens University, but just how far the students have come with their own ventures. So this evening, we are very fortunate to have a great judging panel. And so rather than just read their bios, which I could do and probably not do nearly as good a job, what I'd like to ask each of you is maybe if you could address the audience here, and Barrett, if you could start and just tell us a few things about you that are interesting, and more importantly, why is entrepreneurship so important to you personally?
Sure. Hey, I'm Barrett Mack. I'm with Golden Boot Partners. So my background, I spent 20 plus years in advertising marketing, agencies up in New York, Atlanta, went to Charlotte. I work for companies like Virgin Drinks, Xbox. I actually launched Xbox Live. That also dates me for many of you. Unfortunately, I now work with a software development company, and so I work with tech founders every single day, every single week. So entrepreneurship is important to me for 2 different reasons. One, because I'm working with these tech founders, helping them to make sure they're going down the right path and they're going to have the best chances of success. And at the same time, my wife started a jewelry manufacturing company 13 years ago, so I have seen firsthand the roller coaster ride that it is to be a founder and entrepreneur, and to find the success and also sometimes the lows and the highs. So I love being here to try to help others find that success.
Great. Thank you, Barrett. Thanks for showing. Ashley.
So hi everyone, I'm Ashley Everett. I'm the program director at RedTech Labs, a program here based in Charlotte that supports tech startup founders, specifically in fintech and insurtech. My background is not nearly as glamorous as Barrett, so I'm not real thrilled to follow him. My background is predominantly in nonprofits, but I switched over to the entrepreneurship world 2 years ago, and I personally just love being around the energy, the innovation, and just being part of kind of the future and change.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley Gotro. A little bit of background on myself. I went to school for economics and technology entrepreneurship. During college, I started my own business, and then afterwards, I went to go find a tech startup, and that happened to be Tesla. Back then, they didn't have a product or factory or anything. I worked there for many years, and then for 7 years, helping the company grow in ways. And then once I moved to Charlotte, a few partners and I, we started Creative for Capital, and that is a venture capital firm based in Charlotte, and we focus on seeding companies that do B2B software. So nice to see you all, and here I think it's really cool because when I was doing my technology entrepreneurship program when I went to school, I was also on that stage, so it's kind of come full circle, and through my journey of helping, being part of tech startups or helping foster tech startups, it really does, it's really important because it does change the world, whatever you are passionate about. And so, yeah, excited to meet you.
This is a really small space right here, so you know, on the shift. I'm Adrian Merrill. I am a 2018 graduate, MBA graduate of Queen's University. My background is technology. It's always been technology. I have been in fintech before. I've been in financial services industry. I've been in the government space doing R&D and manufacturing. So I've been all over the place working with not only small businesses, but large businesses as well, like Bank of America and Ingersoll Rand. But I'm also the founder and CEO of GroupWorks. We're an education and technology company. We provide 3 primary services. The first 2 is basically providing interactive training and facilitation to our clients and their employees or their clients. So if for you have a boring teacher, call Dean Lugo, and he'll call me, and I'll make sure that your trainings are more or your classes are more interactive. We also have online software, basically an all-in-one business collaboration tool where we white label it for our clients so they can serve their employees or their clients better. And they can learn, on the tool, they can work together on the tool, and essentially collaborate a lot better within the tool. I'm also the author of a book called After the Pitch. Basically, for all of you pitching today, all the things that happen for startups, in order to get that first investor, from the questions that your investor may ask you to how to plan for onboarding a new investor and being organized in a way that the investor wants to work with you. That's what the book is about. Even a lot of mistakes that investors have made in the process, so you get the perspective of not only the startup founder, but also the investor within the book. So shameless plug, go ahead and buy it. And that's mainly about me. Thanks, Fred.
Well, thank you, Adrian and Ashley and Barrett for volunteering your time. I know the honorarium that we give you is so steep with riches that you couldn't turn us down, but what you're giving back to the entrepreneurial community is very, very valuable. So thank you for your time. President Lugo, for your support of entrepreneurship, and of course, Rick, for your continued support of what we're doing here with this pitch event. We are very fortunate to have 3 finalists this evening, and you're going to get the opportunity to hear each of the finalists pitch. Our judges will then judge those presentations, and after they're finished, then the audience will be able to vote as well. So don't start casting your votes now. You can't stuff the ballot boxes until after the presentations are done. So we've got 3 presentations. We're going to start with Mickey Evans and Campus Shares, followed by Jack O'Grady of Mountain View, and then the tag team of Christian Ramos and Kyle McGruff doing Alkalist. And so I don't want to spend too much time up here talking. Let's let them actually deliver their presentations and see which one actually wins this year's competition.
Do I start? No? Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Mickey Evans, and I'm a senior marketing major here at Queen's University. And today I want to share a little bit about my Columbia Shares program that brings dorm room necessities to financially vulnerable students. So to start off, I'm on the women's rugby team here at Queen's. I want to tell you a little bit about myself first. Every year, we come in the fall, 2 weeks before everyone else to train for our new season. And at the end of those 2 weeks, we volunteer as a team to help freshmen move onto campus for the first time. We do this because freshman year is arguably the most expensive and stressful year for a student to move onto campus and to be a part of the college life. So why is it so expensive? For the first time ever, students are having to buy not only things they need for their classes like laptops and technologies, but they also need to buy things like shower organizers and dorm room decorations and bedding and things like that. And it really starts to add up, and around an average of $800 is expected to be spent per student when they move on campus. And I myself know that when I was moving on campus, I was very stressed about the financial burden that I was putting on my parents and myself, about having to buy all of these things for my college life. So Campus Shares is what I decided to create. So a share is a used or new dorm room necessity, gifted or shared by students who are graduating or moving off campus. So last fall, I implemented a soft release of this program among my teammates of 60 women, where freshmen were given an anonymous survey to fill out where they could choose anything that they would want for their dorm, as well as a color scheme so they could make it their own. So once they did that, at the end of the survey, they chose an anonymous word or date they could add that we would label the bags so they could pick it up on freshman move-in day. Okay, so a little bit of data, because this is a business pitch. So around 900,000 students in the U.S., according to the U.S. 2020 census, are considered financially vulnerable. So that means around 280 of my fellow classmates are in the same position. So that means that there is a wide group of people who would benefit from a program similar to this one. So why would people share to begin with? It feels good to share. Everyone loves to give back to their community, and why would they not want to? Some alternatives would be to simply throw their items away, or maybe to do an indirect donation, which, while still is positive, an indirect donation doesn't effectively solve the problem for the students, because with the Campus Shares program, they could come to one location, get everything they need, and get it for free without having to dig through shelves and shelves of used items. So I took the liberty of creating a flyer for any student or university who is looking to implement this program. This flyer shows how simple and easy it is for a university or student, and judges, you have a copy of it in your folder if you'd like to look at it. So it just gives them ideas of how much they have to do and how much they don't have to do to get this program done. So if Campus Shares were to win this program, win this award, I would get the accreditation and the endorsement I would need for Campus Shares to be recognized and spread all over the U.S. to hit all of these schools and even more. So thank you guys for your time. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will be here.
All right, so we'll let our judges now begin.
So my question when it comes to used items or donating items, what are the COVID implications? How do you ensure the proper kind of cleaning before you pass on an item to someone?
Okay, so with the items that I collected with my teammates this last year, what I did was I collected items from students who were and teammates who were moving off campus or graduating. And I buy a lot of used items myself, so I'm pretty familiar with the cleaning process. You put in the sun, Lysol, a couple rounds of that, and it's usually safe and ready for students to use.
So I love the mission. I think it's really important. One thing I am interested in is who's going to be able to help you do all the work, right? There is a lot of collecting, and just even generally, how would you scale it to other campuses? So mostly going back to like funding sources for that labor.
Yes, definitely. That's been a big conversation for myself and advisors. So basically, what we were thinking was RAs, or Res Life and Housing, already do something similar at the end of the year where they collect items that students don't want to take home and they donate them to Salvation Army. So if they were just to implement that program at the beginning, that would be really, really great. But also there's interns and graduate assistants, and there's chapels at most universities, and sometimes volunteer hours. Like I myself did it as a volunteer, and I was able to get it all done. Like all I had to do was buy a couple trash bags. Like it wasn't a big deal for me personally. So I feel like it's pretty easy for a university to sponsor or for a group of volunteers to get together and tackle the problem themselves.
I'm curious, how are you going, like, what's your revenue model look like? How are you going to make money? Or I know that may not be the full intent, but obviously you have a company to run for the operational side. So I'm curious on that.
It is completely nonprofit, so there's no money coming in at all unless we were to get sponsors, if a university required a sponsor. Mostly this is the price of it would be put onto the university or the volunteers. So like volunteer hours, or like built in, like if there's already a graduate assistant working for the chapel, like it would be part of their job to do it. So yeah, it wouldn't be a great financial burden, but it wouldn't bring any money either. It would just help boost student morale because the GPAs would probably go up, less stress, and maybe more campus involvement as well, which would help a university tenfold.
So in this kind of environment, you know, some people may be embarrassed to pick up, you know, a free package for school, right? So how and where would they pick up their package?
Okay, so it is anonymous. So the survey at the bottom, they get to choose like a word or a date that's special to them that they would know. Last year, because of COVID, we couldn't leave them in the dorm room, so we did actually have to do face-to-face contact with our teammates when we delivered these items. But if, say, Residence Life takes over and RAs are in charge of it, they already have access to the dorms. They can take the bags of things that are not labeled and keep them in the dorm room that the student's going to be moving into, so they don't even have to carry it anywhere. It's just already there waiting.
And one more, when it comes to nonprofits, you get funding based on your metrics, your key performance indicators. So what are you going to be measuring as it relates to the success of the program?
So I would say because around 280 of Queens students are in the financially vulnerable category, according to the US Census, if we were to say send this out to the entire student body of freshmen moving onto campus, a certain amount of them fill it out, we could take that number and see like this is how many people we're helping, and that would really give us a good visual of who's getting helped, and when those students are being helped by not having to worry about the financial burden of having to go out and buy these things, they can spend more time focusing on their classes, on campus events, and it'll show when there's more numbers of people at the basketball game, or there's less people working while also going to school, because there's less worries when it comes to fitting in and like having your dorm look like everybody else's.
Great job, Andrew. Thank you. All right. It's always tough to go first, but excellent job, Mickey. Jack O'Grady. Good to see you, Jack.
No.
Hello? Oh, wow, that's a lot louder. Hello? Okay, perfect. Well, Hi, everyone. My name is Jack O'Grady, and today I'll be presenting my company, Mound View. Whatever your mound will help you reach your peak. So as someone who studies Chinese language, culture, and philosophy, I often run into some good quotes, such as this one by Sun Tzu, a Chinese Confucian philosopher. Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I remember. Involve me, and I learn. Just as someone who's a very hands-on person, the third part of that quote really sticks with me. So what motivates us at Mound View then? Bad customer service experiences drive negative customer retention. When you have a bad customer service experience, you just think to yourself, why did I just waste all that time to get a bad or no answer at all? AE states that 1/3 of customers say they would consider switching companies after just one instance of bad customer service. HuffPost found that 91% of customers will leave a company without even saying anything to the company. They'll just leave and they won't even complain. 66% of customers will leave and their main purpose will be because of bad customer service. We want to create a new customer service platform that gives power to the customer to explain their problems clearly to customer service representatives in order to give them appropriate and efficient solutions. Oh, sorry. And secondly, visual outlooks are key to helping customers and customer service representatives comprehend and understand each other. We want to turn a one-sided, confusing, and frustrating lecture into an engaging, easy to understand, and really interesting conversation between the customer and the customer service representative. Lastly, smart devices and apps are seeing increasingly more use with establishing communication between customers and customer service representatives. We want to utilize this market and become a leader in customer service in this new era. So what is Mound View then? Mound View is an app you can access through your smartphone or your VR system to give you a 3D visual aid on how to operate, troubleshoot, and fix your appliances at home. Utilizing virtual reality, augmented reality, and AI, we want to revolutionize the customer service experience, creating a new way for the customer to get an answer that they need in a way that is convenient and timely. Mound View also helps companies, reducing costs for mechanics and technicians and product replacement costs as well. So what are our service methods then? Our first service method is augmented reality. It is really as simple as taking out your phone and scanning the QR code or going to the company website and finding your product. From there, you'll be directed to a customer service portal in which on your camera, it will display key features and details about your product, showing you the common problems and the common fixes to those problems along with help from the AI. In the case of complex problems, we have customer service representatives that will be able to help you through the step-by-step processes on how to fix them. And if needed, replacement parts can be sent directly to your doorstep with instructions on how to fix them as well. Our second service method is virtual reality. Similarly, it's as easy as taking out your phone and scanning a QR code, or just go to the company website and select the product that you need help with. From there, all it takes is being able to slip on your VR device and you'll be put in a virtual room where you can see your product in a completely 3D setting, being able to disassemble it, reassemble it, see all the key features and details, along with solving simple problems with the help of AI or solving complex problems with the help of a customer service representative. Again, walking you through the step-by-step processes. So who's our target market then? Our target market is millennials and Gen Zs. The reason I say this is based on recent trends and current statistics, both millennials and Gen Zers have shown increased interest in AR and VR, not only for entertainment purposes, but also work and professional purposes as well. So what does our revenue model and income statement projection look like? So through a proprietary licensing, we would charge companies $5,000 a year per company, along with a $3.25 charge per customer that we serve. In future outlooks, if we integrate 11 companies, we would become a profitable company. So what's the end result then? Talking over the phone to get solutions does not help you conceptualize how to fix your problems, leaving you further dissatisfied and confused. At Mound View, we take pride in knowing that we help both the company and customers. We help companies reduce the pain and increase the gain, reducing a company's operating costs and reducing customer frustration while increasing a company's sustainability outlook, customer satisfaction, and gross margin. Customer satisfaction is a huge mountain to climb. Let us help you reach the top.
Great presentation. Just a clarity item, what is your go-to-market strategy? I know that you said that there's a big market for this. Everyone uses customer service. So what would be your first vertical of customer service or go-to-market for customer service?
Yeah, so the one thing that we definitely want to do is we want to express the ease and simplicity of using Mountain View. The reason that I say this is, I mean, just based on statistics alone, over 2/3 of smartphone users are between the ages of 16 to 34, which would fit that Gen Z to millennial age. And the reason we really want to hone in on this, and again, to anyone that's maybe a little older in the crowd, I mean, no disrespect, but I think it's a very fair thing to say that the younger generations are much more involved with technology, whether that is a VR system or that is using their phone on daily transactions. I mean, I viewed my email right before this just to make sure I was coming in on time for the pitch competition. And the reason I say that is just, I feel like by hitting these markets first, hitting these younger markets and showing the simplicity of, hey, it's all you do is you scan a QR code or you just go to the company website and select, oh, I'm having problems with my dishwasher because it won't actually fill with water for some reason. You'd be able to fix the product right there by using either the AI, hopefully if it's a simple fix, or if it, in the case that it's a complicated fix, you'd be able to connect with the customer service representative. Further outlooks, we would definitely want to target some of the older generations, the boomers, and is it the silent era? I think that's correct. We definitely want to target them as well because we certainly don't want to limit it to just the younger generations, because I understand that there are older generations out there that use smartphones as well. So we certainly want to show it to them as well.
So the consumers are the end users that will use the product, but would you be targeting businesses to actually sell to, because they're the ones that are going to be actually giving the AI instruction on how to service?
Yes. So sorry if I totally went the other way with your question. I didn't mean that. But what we would definitely want to do first is target some of these larger companies, especially ones that are product based. So when I think of it, I think GE, I think Sony, I think Apple, any company that may have these larger products. I always think of like a refrigerator or a dishwasher in that case. And from there, we'd be able to onboard or take in their blueprints in order to kind of create these in a 3D landscape in order to kind of see the key features. Again, what are the problems? And then if it was that simple, then if you have a GE fridge or you have a GE dishwasher, you'd be like, oh, okay, I can just scan this with my QR code and I can figure out why my temperature is reading that 203 degrees when I know it's cold in there. So.
Curious on, speaking of that, when you're looking at creating content, so are you going to be able to use content that those companies have, or are you going to help them create that? Like if it's an instruction video for how to fix their dishwasher.
Yeah, so the main thing that we would want to do is we would want to build kind of like a template for like what we might want to do. So like give an example of fixing it. I always go back to the dishwasher and the refrigerator, so just excuse me if I get really redundant with that. But we would want to create like a sample model. I almost think, have you ever used like a Snapchat filter before, like an Instagram filter?
I'm out of your target market.
Oh. But I think with the thing that's amazing about a lot of these augmented reality softwares is they can automatically detect what they're looking at. And if we took it a step further of scanning the QR code to say, oh, we know this is a dishwasher, we could like label the insides of it as well. We would want to just make like a model, again, both for the phone setting, because the phone would obviously be a lot more limited in its technology capacity than a virtual reality system would be. But we would want to create it on both planes in order to give people that option. Okay, do you want to further conceptualize it? I mean, even some people would prefer it. I would guess would prefer it in that VR setting as well. So we would want to come up with, I guess, the original idea on 3 different models: refrigerator, dishwasher, maybe washing machine to kind of show how it would work. And then from there, if we did on board with some of these big companies, we would take their blueprints in order to kind of create them in this 3D setting and this augmented reality setting as well.
Can I, go ahead.
So there were a couple of things that I picked out. You went pretty quickly through the financial slide, but I did notice that software development was $48,000. You mentioned at a $5,000 per year rate that 11 companies will make you profitable. How does that work?
Yeah, so would you like me to go back to that slide?
Well, let me ask a more direct question. Are you going to be doing the development, or are you going to hire someone?
No, I would definitely, so full disclosure, I don't know anything about developing that, but I would love to learn. The thing is, the thing that I've come to realize just based on some smaller augmented reality sections, such as like a face filter that makes your cheeks look more red, all the way to applications all the way like Pokemon Go, is that they don't necessarily need a large team as long as these people are just working on it, as long as it's a small team that are working on it constantly. And that's the reason that on that page I did include only 5 software developers, is because by taking the blueprints, we already know what we're going to build. And I think that's a real advantage, is since we already know what we have to build and how it's built, we don't have to go through all the problems of, will this work? Will this make sense? Since we already know right in front of us what we're building, we just got to put that in a setting where it will be easy to view from your phone and a VR device.
So those are 2 different development avenues, your phone and your VR device.
Correct.
I would consider that, as well as the fact that you'll have to have someone to maintenance this. Like you'll have to hire someone,
Yes,
which is usually around like at least $120,000 a year. When you think about what your profit is.
Yes, sir.
No, you actually covered it.
So aside from like the current customer service 1-800 numbers, what does this competitive landscape look like? Is there anything else out there starting to work on something similar to this?
Yeah, so there is one other company that has, I think they're about 2 years into starting. They're called Texi. The main glaring differences, and to be honest, like it's really amazing because like while doing my research, it's like you could see what they were doing, but I guess I had a lot of differences in my own setting as well. And so the first glaring difference is that they have no VR. They have no capability of doing that in any way. Along with that, they don't include a virtual operating manual, which would mean you have to communicate either through AI or with a customer service representative, just in those settings, which I can understand that maybe that's like an outdated thing to do to look at an instruction manual, but I say, why not include that? Because I know there are some people that are like, I just want to be left alone. I want to do this by myself. I just want to cater to the people, to everyone, because it seems like there's no reason to cut that down in any setting. Another feature that they don't include would be sending replacement parts directly to your door. I think the reason that I really liked the idea of sending replacement parts over is because it would kind of create this new consumer culture of, we don't need to send a technician out here. We don't need to send a mechanic out here to come fix my device, because at the end of the day, the most frustrating thing when you get on a call with a customer service agent is for them to put you on hold for an hour, hearing the same song, just for them to tell you, yeah, unplug it and plug it back in. It's like, okay, I could have just done that the entire time. So the reason that I say that is we want to create this new culture of like self-help. You can fix products yourself, and then it even improves the sustainability outlook for the company as well. And we don't need to send the whole thing back and scrap the whole thing. Whereas we can just send them a new part and they can fix it themselves, which would be included on the instructions from either the VR or the augmented reality.
Thank you. Good job. There's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion behind these ideas, which leads us to our final group, Christian Ramos, Kyle McGuff, and Alkalist.
That's my love right there.
Hello, everyone. We are excited to tell you about how we are optimizing the sustainability of the biodiesel production. Who are we? We are Alkalist. I am Christian Ramos. I'm a biochemistry major here at Queens. I've been working with organic synthesis for the past couple of years, and my partner here is...
I'm Kyle McGuff. I have military and managerial experience. I also am in the biochemistry program here. I work closely with Christian, and I've been producing biodiesel myself for about the past 2 semesters now.
So the technology that we're presenting here is a catalyst for the production of biodiesel. So how do we make biodiesel? We have a process where we take an oil like triglycerides, mix it with a base catalyst or an alkaline catalyst, that's where we get our name, Alkalist, and an alcohol, and that will make biodiesel. So what we're proposing is a dry catalyst. A dry catalyst makes it so that the byproduct of biodiesel that can be formed when there's water, soap, is decreased, and we can increase our yields with biodiesel using ethanol. So why do we want to use ethanol over the current market standard of methanol?
So here, this slide displays some differences between methanol and ethanol. And the first thing I wanted to mention is that methanol is actually made from natural gas and methane, and we get that from underground. It's an environmental pollutant. It's a greenhouse gas. Those things are something we don't want to release into the environment and work with. It's non-renewable compared to ethanol. It's much more environmentally friendly. We make it domestically fermented from sugars here in the US. So that's another thing. Natural gas is usually imported to the US, so there could be some supply chain limitations, especially like right now with Russia and the sanctions that we have against them. And obviously, since we're made in the USA, that's a benefit. And methanol is much more toxic than ethanol. So obviously, ethanol is something that is much more desirable. But
there is no market for ethanol. Right now, we're making things with methanol that's creating methyl esters that we use for making biodiesel. In the production of biodiesel, we use really dangerous chemicals like sodium metal that is incredibly flammable when used with flammable substances like methanol. It's not biodegradable, it's bad for the environment, and our catalyst will help us make the business more friendly for the environment and safer for the people working in the business.
So here's a chart that displays some of the trend from 2003 to 2019 of the production of biodiesel in the US. And obviously it's a big upward trend. And in 2019, the US produced 2.8 billion gallons of biodiesel, and we sold 980 million gallons of a biodiesel diesel blend. And that brings up another interesting point as why is biodiesel blended into diesel?
So biodiesel started being blended into diesel in 2010. That's why you see that upward peak right around that time, because they noticed that the sulfur that was in diesel at the time was creating acid rain. Acid rain's not good, and that they decided that they needed to use biodiesel. That was the answer, because biodiesel has superior lubricative properties that help the engine continue to run and not seize up when it's only using diesel. The biodiesel is also much cleaner. It causes less particulates into the air, so it's better for the environment. It's also better for the oceans, where a lot of smaller boats use diesel engines, and those engines can leave oil sheets on top of the water that destroy coral, kill fish, and biodiesel can be an answer to this using ethanol as well. Most biodiesel today, like I said, use methanol and methyl esters, and we are proposing to use ethanol instead. And here are some numbers on what we predict would be the increased profitability of biodiesel using our catalyst.
So here is a customer archetype. He's a synthesis of many interviews that we did and we had conducted with chemical engineers that produce biodiesel. And here is Ethan Hall. He works at, he's a chemical engineer that works at Renewable Biofuels. And at RBF, he produces about 10,000 gallons of biodiesel and about 1,000 gallons of glycerol byproducts. And one of the key insights that we gained from this is at the bottom, he says that an ethyl ester alternative, which is biodiesel made from ethanol, may benefit related transesterification chemistries. That's just a big fancy general term that describes the organic reaction that undergoes to create biodiesel. And so these are some examples of industries that use transit esterification, polyester manufacturing, PET plastics recycling, electrosynthesis, and biodiesel production, which is our main focus. And so we want to thank you all for listening to our presentation, and if anyone has any questions, please.
Thank you.
Great presentation. I think you hit on the head that we are moving to sustainable energy, and then we also, Russia and everything, we have to have more things domestic. One thing I did have a question on was what your business model is. So you have this new product. Will you be patenting and selling it, or will you be producing it yourself and then selling it?
Yeah, so here we have been producing it. We've used it to make biodiesel. That's definitely an option. We've thought about doing both, and we haven't quite decided on which one we were going to do yet. But yes, we know that those are definitely options, and either way we go, I think we would be successful.
Actually, we do have some samples that we've
true.
made from the lab that we would like to show you as well. You can smell that it's a lot cleaner than regular diesel if you're used
So
to
the cleaner one, obviously, that's with our catalysts, and it is biodiesel. And then obviously this is not as clean, so made without our catalyst.
So
Go ahead.
oh, no.
Go.
So I know a little bit about this industry enough to sound smart. And I don't prefer acid rain either. But, I saw on your description that this was like a novel solution, but this has been a solution that's been out for a while, right? Sodium oxide versus potassium oxide.
Yeah.
And as far as catalysts are concerned. Mm-hmm. So what makes this a novel idea?
It's the use of ethanol. So what actually is difficult when you compare those two, those are both biodiesels made with ethanol. And without our catalyst, it's very hard to get a separation between that glycerol byproduct and the biodiesel. And our catalyst is what enables that to happen.
And those other two solutions don't.
Correct, absolutely. Using methanol, it's so hard. I've tried it, and you see the result. And I've tried it multiple times. And even with the failures, which we have some failures with ethanol, we use methanol to encourage it. So we know that methanol is easy. It makes the separation so easy, and ethanol is just a struggle. And that's what gets us there, is that ethanol, it's more renewable. We're replacing that methanol, which is not safe, toxic.
So how our catalyst works is that we use the waste glycerol from making biodiesel. And we use that glycerol to increase the boiling point of the catalyst so we can get rid of the water. And that way we can introduce it into the biodiesel, into the actual reaction, and not have any soap and have greater separation to increase our yield of biodiesel, which isn't being done now when we use ethanol. It cuts out methanol from the equation pretty much.
I mean, super fascinating, because I've always heard biodiesel is supposed to use, renewable products, but obviously no one talks about the methanol side of things.
Exactly.
Talk about that, so it's pretty fascinating to hear. I'm curious on, I don't know this industry, so I don't know how you guys, you talk about making money, like, are you selling it? How are you, how does this, do you have a pricing model? How does this work?
Right. So we have a slide that kind of shows, if you can go down to the end of that, shows so using this alkylist, we're able to make obviously a cheaper biodiesel. And so when we kind of want to make sort of a relationship with biodiesel producers, because we want to buy their waste glycerol and sort of give them an incentive. And maybe since we're buying the glycerol, then we're probably going to end up producing it ourselves and then selling it to them as a catalyst that they can use.
So why is this cheaper?
So just comparing this, we also want to focus on raw materials that are waste materials, so like the glycerol, and then also the triglyceride oils that we start with. We want to get that like waste products from restaurants or things like that. So that makes it cheaper as well. The alcohol is a little bit more expensive, but we kind of rolled in some operating expenses into that because we produce our own ethanol as well. So that kind of rolls into that price. But our catalyst is cheaper. We compared it to what's like an industry standard of sodium metal that they're using right now. And you can see per gallon, obviously, those is still a little bit cheaper. The operating costs are still going to be the same. So
What are your barriers to entry? What would stop someone from basically taking your idea and cannibalizing it?
The unknown about this. I mean, really, yeah. If someone found out about this, I don't know what would stop them, to be honest.
All right, good job, guys. Three very unique presentations, very different. I'm glad I'm not a judge this year. You guys have the hard part to figure out which one gets the first prize. But everyone leaves a winner here in this pitch competition. First prize is $2,500 cash, as was mentioned earlier, that they can spend to grow their business. Second prize is $1,500. Third prize is $500. And then we have an audience choice award. So all of you get to vote as well. And so if you pull out your program and scan the QR code, that will enable you to vote for your favorite team. And the winner of the fan favorite audience choice will get $500 for that award. If we can get to that. All right, and while our judges are deliberating and while all of you are voting, what I do want to do is just take a couple minutes to thank all of our generous sponsors. Without our sponsors, we would not be able to give out these cash prizes. We wouldn't be able to conduct an event of this scale. Some of our sponsors are actually here this evening. And so if I could ask Kathleen Aiken from Bishop Delaney, Joyner, and Abner to maybe say a few words about her firm.
Hi everyone, my name is Kathleen Aiken. As just mentioned, Bishop Delaney, Joyner, and Abner. We are a corporate and transactional law firm here in town. We focus a lot of our work on high-growth entrepreneurs and startups. Actually, see some clients in here, which is great. And so we love to represent startups and entrepreneurs, everything from forming an entity through getting into any commercial contracting needs, whether that's license agreements, supplier agreements, distribution, anything related to corporate governance, all the way through financing. We also regularly represent startups that are going through Series C financing. So we would love to connect if you have any needs for a corporate firm to help you start up.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you for your support. Another one of our corporate sponsors is Creative Co., represented by Ashley. She's busy deliberating, so we'll save her till the very end after she's cast her votes. We also have Jared Pack from Dual Boot Partners. Have you cast your vote already?
I did.
Well, now you can pitch your company.
Hey, so I'm with Dual Boot Partners. We are a business and software development firm. So we build software companies. So if it's a tech startup or a Fortune 500 company, we can build their products for them. So we work as both a strategic partner as well as their product development team. We work with everything from fintech, health tech, sport tech, you name it. What I'll put out there, because I do this a lot, so I talk to a lot of people who are looking to build software products. If anyone out here is looking to do that, I can help guide you on what the development challenges are, what you need to be on the lookout for, how much it costs. It's not only built the first time around, but ongoing costs. You kind of know what you're getting into before you get into it. It's expensive. And so, anyway, so that's cool.
Great, thank you. And thank you for judging, Barry. We've got Taylor Barden here from Morgan Stanley, from the Variant Path Group, who hopefully is giving me great returns on my capital.
Yeah, I'm actually Harper Hicks. I'm not Taylor Barden. Good to see you. We're a 9-person wealth management team at Morgan Stanley. We manage about $1.2 billion for clients, and we have a unique focus on exit planning for entrepreneurs and business owners, helping them to monetize their business. And every day we come into the office, I think our team, we've got unique energy, and it's exciting to come in and think that we're innovating and we're problem solving for clients, and it's neat to be in a room where people are doing just that for our community and for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got Ashley Everett from RevTech Labs.
So RevTech Labs is based here in Charlotte. We work with tech startups, specifically the fintech and insurtech verticals from all over the world. Our sweet spot is what we call post-revenue, post-growth. So they have some traction, they have some customers, they have some revenue coming in. And they come into our 14-week program where we give them a customized roadmap based on their unique objectives. We give them an advisory board, access to hundreds of subject matter experts, and we provide the funding that is going to essentially be the catalyst to their growth and their success well beyond their program.
Thank you, Ashley. We're also fortunate to have Shika Kashyap from Sintelli Solutions.
Hi guys, Shika Kashyap from Sintelli. Great presentations. Congratulations to all the 3 groups. We are based here in Charlotte. We are data and analytics firm. We help you work with data. I guess data has become the new fuel, as they call it, right? So all the businesses everywhere, you do need the data, and once you collect it, what do you do with it? How do you get the insights? And that's what we provide, and build products out of your data. So again, this is Shika, and we are always in lookout for great entrepreneurs. If you need any help, or if you are looking how to crunch your numbers, we are right here. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go back to Ashley so she can tell us a little bit about Creative Co.
Creative Co Capital is based in Charlotte. We invest in early stage software companies, seed and pre-seed companies, and we look all over the country actually, but most of the companies that we do invest in are actually in Charlotte. So happy to be here.
Great. Thank you, Ashley. And finally, we've got Stefan Friend from Tabris.
Great presentations as well. Fantastic to hear and hear from all of you. It's really hard being up on that spotlight. You all did fantastic. So, hi, I'm Stefan Friend, Executive Director of Tabris Innovation Center in South Bend. We've been open a little over 2 years. It's not fantastic timing opening right before the pandemic. But our mission from the beginning has been to cater to the entrepreneurial community in Charlotte. We are founders and ourselves, and know that for early teens it can be a lonely ride. And so we wanted to create a community of like-minded people building companies, solving really important problems in the world. So we were surrounded by people that can help you find those breakthroughs. And that's what we've been building for the last couple of years. And I'm excited to be here, similarly experiencing that in person.
Great. Thank you. So I sincerely appreciate all the support of the judges. I've had the unique pleasure of doing business with pretty much every single one of them, or have clients that have worked with them. So not only are they local businesses, but they're supportive of the entrepreneurship, infrastructure here in Charlotte. So thank you very much. The one thing I didn't mention about the prizes. So obviously we've got $2,500 going to the first place team, $1,500 to the second place team, $500 going to the third place team, the $500 audience choice, but there's more. Because the winning team also gets a hot seat at Tabris. And if you haven't been to their facility off of South Boulevard in the old Lance Cracker building, you should definitely go check it out. It's a great environment for entrepreneurship. And all of the students who participated this evening will be invited to the Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame event at Quail Hollow in the fall. It is a must-attend event for the entrepreneurship community. It's where we induct the members of the Hall of Fame, and the stories are just absolutely phenomenal. It's just a wonderful event to be at. So, Greg, has he crunched the numbers? Do we have winners? Okay, all right. So I don't want to push this off much further, but I do want to introduce Keith Ludeman, who is the chairman of the ELC. He is an all-around great guy. He is a serial entrepreneur. He's done just about everything. And it seems like the only time I run into him is on a lounge chair in Las Vegas. But Keith Ludeman, please come on up. Tell us who won.
That really is a weird experience to be relaxing in Las Vegas after a conference and hearing somebody shout your name right next to you. So this was helping. Wow, wasn't that fantastic? I mean, this is our 4th year doing this pitch competition, and I would say by far the best. It's so amazing to see the pitches get better and better. And I personally want to thank all the sponsors. I reached out to most of you. I consider most of you friends, and I really appreciate you coming back and helping. I am not part of the target generation, but I do want to get a picture. So, Jack, sorry, I still have a smartphone even though I'm looking over. Okay, so I get to give away some money, and I think we have we saw the big fake check for the winner. Okay, right. So 3rd place, $500, and it is Mickey Evans. Fantastic work. And you got to realize they had to make it past 28 other students just to get to this point. So that's fantastic. Our 2nd place winner, who will receive $1,500, is Jacko Gray. It's actually really weird to actually shake people's hands. It's fantastic. I love it. And our 1st place winner, who will receive $2,500 and a hot desk at Tabris. Now, I really encourage you taking advantage of that desk at Tabris. You get to be around other exciting entrepreneurs, and Stefan will take care of you too, along with John Brock and those guys over there. But it's no mystery who won this. $2,500 to Christian Ramos and Kyle McGuy. And last but not least, we got a little bit of mystery for the very end. Our audience choice that you in this room picked at $500 goes to Jacko Gray. Oh, we've got his cash for him, but he's got So in case you've got anything to give to these fine folks that put their heart and soul into this, I want to make sure you've got a chance to get their contact information to reach out to them. I can already think of a few places where I can help Mickey connect you to Envision Charlotte and some of the circular places doing a lot of recycling. And so take a minute and think how you can reach out and give them some advice, because it's so hard to start a business and for them to do it as a student at the university. So any help you can give them, I'm sure would be appreciated. If anybody has any questions about what they're doing at the McCall School of Business, it's actually just amazing. They've got an entrepreneurship minor. being behind the scenes and seeing what Dr. Burka is coming up with teaching entrepreneurship. I know Lewis teaches a class. So you get to hear from a lot of the really great entrepreneurs in Charlotte, helping you develop that entrepreneurial mindset that will assist you in all different ways throughout life. But I would encourage you to reach out to Sarah Williams, who, I want to give her a round of applause. I mean, she pulls off this event every year. Absolutely incredible. There's a reason the final event in The Apprentice was event planning, because chaos happens, right? So good job pulling it together. And Dr. Burka could really answer any questions about the program and what they're putting together. Now, we're going to head upstairs to the lobby for a reception so we can actually do some networking. I still think without masks, which is fantastic. And I'll see you upstairs.